Yes.
I think it starts with, are we going to make the pick? And if there's a player that stands out that we feel it's not worth losing, it's not worth even picking up the phone, then we'll just make the pick. But if it's a player that we're not as excited about, or there's a group of players that we would love to pick from, and we can get value for that, then we're certainly open to listening to that. So I think when you go on the clock, unless you're super convicted that you're making the pick, you kind of just sit there and wait for a little bit and see if your phone will ring. And sometimes you can get really good trade offers that maybe you didn't expect, and other times your phone doesn't ring, so then you just pick. But we try to be open-minded. We try to give ourselves as much time, as allotted to make the best decision for the Raiders. And we traded back twice in the second round last year and accumulated a bunch of what we thought was really good draft capital, and we'd be open to doing that again.
I mean, that makes sense. The process of when you select, if someone is willing to jump up and offer you a bunch, then that is totally understandable. Mm-hmm. I totally get that. But like when you kind of have this pick, right? You're either sold that this guy is going to be the next face of the franchise, or you're not.
Well, and if
so they already know that.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're not, then if there's any doubt in your mind, then you have to look at all the offers. And if your projections, because all these guys have planned this out. I think it was Howie Roseman a couple days ago that said that they're not looking at what these guys can be right now. Like, is this guy going to be a day one starter? Like, if they're drafting a player in the second round, they're not looking at, is this guy is going to be a day one starter? They're looking at, is this guy going to be a Pro Bowler in 3 years? Is this guy going to be an All-Pro in 4 years? They're projecting what their player is going to look like 4 and 5 years down the road. So if the Raiders are looking at Fernando Mendoza, what can he be 4 and 5 years down the road? The comps that we have heard so far have been Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is literally in the building for the Raiders right now. And I know he's not the same Kirk Cousins that was with the Vikings and was competing for division championships and, making the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I understand that. He's an older Kirk Cousins. He didn't throw for as many touchdowns. He's backup Kirk Cousins. That's fine. But my point is, if that's the ceiling, then there has to be some doubt in your mind.
So why wouldn't you consider trading back? If someone else values Mendoza as this high-level potential star one day, I would absolutely move back if someone's willing to trade me something good.
And this is what I've been preaching for months. If this is the guy, just because he's there and you need a quarterback this year doesn't mean you have to take a quarterback this year. There's more quarterbacks this next year. There's 4 or 5 quarterbacks coming out next year. Arch Manning, Dante Moore, there's tons of them coming out next year. You can wait. You've already started to improve your offensive line. You started to improve. You kept Max Crosby. If he's going to be there at the start of the season, who knows? If he's going to be at the start of next season, who knows? So you've already started to improve your team. You can get more first-round picks. Next year's draft is going to be better. You could acquire more picks for next year as well. If you can do that, if I'm John Spytek, the GM of the Raiders, I'm looking at that road right now rather than maybe selecting Fernando Mendoza just because he's there. Now, a lot of other draft experts will say, this guy's great. He's got a lot of intangibles. He's a great leader. He checks every box in that realm. And also, the stuff that he was doing at Indiana actually does perform in the NFL. Yeah. And he did lead a lot of great drives, and he can throw from the pocket, and he does check all these boxes that people like in the NFL, and he will be a great player. So, and that Matt Ryan comp is a lot better than the Kirk Cousins comp. So if they do believe that he can trend more upward in that direction, then sure, select him. There is no doubt. But unless you're running the card up there when when that clock starts ticking, and there's 2 minutes less this year, remember that, people. You get 2 minutes less this year.
What do you mean?
The NFL wants this thing to move faster.
They want it to be snappy?
They want it to be fast. It's not 10 minutes anymore. You get 8. That's it.
Did you say something to Goodell?
No, I didn't.
Hey, I'm Adam Abdalla. I'm going to be there. I would like this to move along quicker.
No. I don't need an earlier bedtime.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Just wondering.
No, it wasn't me.
Just trying to figure it out.
I don't have a curfew. It wasn't me.
I never understood people that complained about how long the first round took.
It wasn't me.
I enjoy watching the NFL
So
draft.
do I. I have no problem with it.
Like, what is there? What else is there to do? Like, sure, there's going to be NBA playoffs taking place, but outside of that, like, if you want to watch the draft is there.
Yeah.
I'm also a sicko, and I'm the one that's watching on Saturday.
Yeah.
When they're deep, 5th, 6th round. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. I really enjoy watching the NFL draft, so it's no problem to me. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is also from the ESPN article talking about Spytek speaking to the media yesterday. The previous 6 quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall. Cam Ward, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. All 6 of those quarterbacks, the last 6 quarterbacks taken number 1 overall, started week 1 of their rookie season. You and I have talked about this here on the show. It does not make any sense to me at all for a franchise to say we are drafting a quarterback number 1 overall and he is going to sit behind someone else to learn. That's ass backwards. You need the player out there immediately to start to develop. You need him to see live action, to get out there, the speed of the NFL game, the play call coming into the helmet, telling your teammates what to do in the huddle. It's different. College football is totally different in the way offensive schemes are ran, the way the offense is called, and the way that you talk to your teammates on the field. It's a big adjustment. The sooner you could jump into that, the better. The last 6 selected first overall were players that started week 1 at quarterback. The last one who was selected first overall as a quarterback that did not start week 1, it was Baker Mayfield in 2018. That's the last time that a quarterback selected number 1 overall did not start week 1 for their team. So that's the other part of this conversation. We assume the Raiders will take Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 pick. And John Spytek talked about why you wouldn't play a young quarterback right away.
It's a hard position to play, and there's a lot to learn beyond throwing a football and being a good teammate. I mean, a lot of these guys, they live their entire life in shotgun. They don't huddle. So, I mean, you really got to teach some of these guys how to run a huddle and how to break a huddle and how to get under center and call a cadence because, you see so many of them clap now too. So it's far beyond just learning a playbook, which in and of itself is hard enough. And, I think when you can be patient, and we all understand there's not a ton of patience in the job that we chose here, but if you can find some level of patience and put people in positions when they're ready, that's the best way forward. And, we've got to remind ourselves some of that sometime too, is because we all want to see the young guys play. We want to see them play well, but we don't want to put anybody out there, regardless of the position, who's not ready.
Raiders GM John Spytek speaking to the media yesterday. They don't want to put a player out there that's not ready. I would say, how do you get ready without the actual experience? How do you ever get experience without experience?
No, exactly.
Like every young person faces that, right? You go for a job interview and they say, you seem like a good kid. You seem like you know what you're doing, but you don't have any experience. And then you have to say, well, how am I going to get experience if I don't get that first job?
Exactly.
And I think the same goes for playing quarterback. You got to be out there to see how it goes. You kind of have to stumble, kind of have to fail at first, and then you hopefully rebound from that moving forward.
That's the biggest knock on Ty Simpson out of Alabama, is that the reason he's not ranked higher in this draft is because of how little football he's played and how little action he's played. And the fear is that he's going to be like Mitch Trubisky when he came in for the Bears, and he only played and started 1 full season at North Carolina and came in and was a bust and didn't play well. And that Bears season was propped up by that defense. And when it was time for Mitch Trubisky to play well, he couldn't do it. And so the fear is that if Ty Simpson comes in and is forced to start right away, he won't be able to do it. So the idea is that if you draft him later in the first round or early in the second round, he's afforded the opportunity to sit for a year and observe and then can come in. But if you're drafting a quarterback first overall, you shouldn't be doing that. If you're spending that kind of money and that kind of draft capital first overall, you have to have the conviction that that player is ready to play right away. You can't use that kind of draft capital on a guy that's going to sit for a year or for half the season. That player's got to be ready to go. And if you think that you can use the offseason and training camp to get that player ready to go, I think you should be able to. But if you paid another quarterback in Kirk Cousins $20 million,
it's a lot of money.
That says two different things.
Yeah.
Drafting a quarterback number one and paying a veteran $20 million is sending two different messages.
Wouldn't it be something if the Raiders said they select someone else with the number one pick, or they move back and they play Kirk Cousins knowing that they will run right into a ditch this season, and then they can get a high pick next season when all the great quarterbacks are coming out of college? Wouldn't that be something if that's what they did?
That would be it would be the greatest trick of the offseason, because everybody has gone through
for weeks
the last 3 months of however long we've gone through this, thinking that they were going to, that Fernando Mendoza, every AI image of him in silver and black since the end of the regular season.
John Spytek said that they're receiving calls for number one. He said it yesterday.
And they're going to take the entire full minutes of the draft the draft to take more phone calls.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I watched the play-in round last night. The Hornets beat the Heat. The Trailblazers beat the Suns. LaMelo Ball, the trip on Bam Adebayo, I think it was dirty. They should have called something on the court. We're going to talk about this coming up next.
Who is the best edge rusher in the draft? Ohio State's Arvell Reese or Texas Tech's David Bailey? They're both expected to go in the top 5. You ready for this? The NFL Draft is next week. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
The Hornets beat the Heat last night 127-126 to advance to a game on Friday night against the loser of tonight's game between the Magic and the 76ers in the play-in round on the Eastern Conference side of the bracket. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Last night watching the game, Abdalla, I thought Hornets Heat was exactly what you wanted to get out of the play-in round, right? Like a team like the Heat kind of limping through it. Then also a young group of players like the Hornets kind of showing up at home. The crowd was behind them. It was a fun game. Both teams hitting big shots at the end. Tyler Hero hitting big shots. Kobe White hitting big shots. So it was a good game back and forth. That's exactly what they want to get out of the play-in round. Still don't think it's necessary, but it's what they want to get out of the play-in round. Let me go to the second quarter. 10:58 left in the second quarter. Hornets lead 30-26 over the Heat. And Bam Adebayo gets tripped as he's falling out of bounds by LaMelo Ball. It was a dirty play. No doubt in my mind, it was a dirty play. Because this isn't the first time LaMelo Ball has tripped a player previously when he's on the ground just grabbing at legs. He's actually, in the past, tripped Bam Adebayo, the same exact player. So clearly there's a back and forth between the two of them. LaMelo's falling back. He sweeps the leg. Bam is then gone for the rest of the game, injured, not able to finish for the Miami Heat. It was a dirty play. Nothing was called. Now, the official ruling was because the play continued on. They couldn't go back and review it because there was a foul called on the other end, and you can't go past the last call to review. Whatever. But, I mean, it was clearly a dirty play from LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was something that affected the rest of the game, obviously, because Bam could not return because of his injured back. And the Heat, were able to compete with the Hornets, and it was a competitive game the rest of the way. I don't know how competitive it would have been for the Hornets if Bam would have played. I mean, obviously, he's their best player. So,
Chances are they win in regulation.
Absolutely.
Mean, the Hornets were down by 6 with like 2 minutes left.
Exactly. So it completely changes the trajectory of the game. So I like that the Hornets won. They're a better story, I think, than the Heat winning that game. So I like that the Hornets won, but it's unfortunate that that is now the story of that game, rather than it being that LaMelo hits a game-winning shot and then it goes down to the other side. There's a blocked shot. That's how they end up winning the game.
Yeah.
It's also, well, yeah, you also took out Bam Adebayo's legs and injured him so he couldn't return to the game.
Let's hear from Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra talking about the play where Bam Adebayo was injured.
I didn't see it, but I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that, and if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If somebody has got to see that, and that he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from, anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
Spoelstra's not wrong. He should have received a technical foul, if not a flagrant.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the flagrant, it was intentional. Mm-hmm. Like LaMelo acts as if it wasn't.
You could see the push. You could see the hands.
It was the sweep.
Push, yeah.
And we've seen this before in the NBA. Probably the least likable player in the league, maybe the most punchable face in the league, Grayson Allen, multiple times in his college and pro career has done something dirty. And when you do it once, the second, third, fourth time, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. Just go talk to Draymond Green about that.
Yeah.
Draymond has multiple situations where he went too far. And once it got past a certain point, now any play where there's an aggressive nature going for the basketball, the officials are always going to penalize Draymond Green more excessively than they would anyone else.
Yeah,
because he kicked LeBron in the ding-ding.
Well, you can't
in the finals.
You can't do any ding-ding kicking.
Well, but like that, he did that. Mm-hmm. He punched Rudy Gobert, or he tried to face push Rudy Gobert.
Can't do that.
Like because of Draymond's past, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. So let's take a listen. What happened? Here's LaMelo Ball last night.
I apologize on that one. I mean, I got hit in the head and didn't really know where I was, but I'm going to check on him and see if he's okay and everything.
LaMelo, it kind of looked like on film that you might have grabbed his leg. I mean, did you intentionally grab his leg?
I haven't even seen. Like I said, I got hit in the head, didn't even know where I was, but yeah, just playing basketball. But like I said, sorry, and I'm going to check on him.
Were you checked for concussion after that play at all?
Me for concussion?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I ever had a concussion. Or I might have. I don't know. I don't even know how them concussions work.
So that's LaMelo Ball.
Nice to hear from Cam Scadabo. Didn't know he played for the Hornets and
I think there's
the Giants.
There's a lot there. First of all, his own teammate's knee is what hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Second of all, he admitted that he didn't know where he was because he got hit in the head.
Yeah.
Sounds like to me, sir, you had a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Third, he tried to blame that to why he did a sweep of the leg to Bam Adebayo. None of it adds up. And then you could hear in the clip at the end when he realizes what he just said.
Yeah.
Like he realizes why the reporters...
He said it twice. He said it twice that he didn't know where he was.
And he realizes mid-answer that, I just stepped in it because now they're going to question why I wasn't cleared in the concussion protocol.
It was at this point.
Yes, he knew he messed up. Laura, can you play this clip again? Listen for the moment where he realizes he said too much. Take a listen.
Me for concussion? Yeah. I mean, I don't think I ever had a concussion. Or I don't know how them concussions work.
He doesn't know how they work.
It was at this point I realized that I messed up.
So there should have been a flagrant foul on him.
Yes.
And I'm not against what Spoelstra was suggesting, that he should have been tossed from the game. It was clearly a dirty play.
Yeah, look, that's up to the officials to review what type of flagrant it is, and I don't know if it's a 1, a 2, whatever you want to call it, but it should have been reviewed. It should have been officiated however it is. I don't know what Spoelstra's saying, how it's funny or joking. Like, did anybody find it funny or joking? Was there anybody laughing at it? Was anybody making fun of it? I didn't see any of that.
Could it be more of LaMelo's personality to begin with?
Okay.
He comes across as a clown.
I understand that.
He appears to be very immature.
Yeah, okay.
He seems to be a bit of a joke himself, the way he acts. So I could see Spoelstra trying to big dog him by saying it wasn't cute, by being like, you think you're all that, you think you're great because of, you're all tatted up, you have all the money, you drive your fancy cars, because like that's a thing. Are you aware of this? That LaMelo has been seen in Charlotte, like racing around the downtown streets and his various Ferraris and whatnot. Like it's like a thing.
Yeah. He's also turned into like a really good player now.
He is. But stuff like that makes you also question the seriousness of the player.
I know, but at the same time now, like I think he's matured a little bit throughout this season. Like I think he's turned himself into a decent player enough where like he also took over.
Oh, he's a very good player.
Look, he redeemed himself at the end in overtime because he almost cost them that game. But with the turnover and everything, like he absolutely redeemed himself. He would have been the reason that they lost that game, and he might have been the reason that they won that game. One with the trip of Bam Adebayo and with the last second basket that put them ahead in that game.
The old sweep of the leg.
The old sweep of the leg, Johnny, in that game yesterday. But it was entertaining. And look, I understand that your complaint and my complaint of the play-in tournament. The complaint of the play-in tournament is not that the games are bad.
No.
That's not it.
The games are great.
The games were phenomenal yesterday. Yeah. The argument against the play-in tournament is that it gives owners an excuse to stay stagnant in the middle where they are. It gives the Heat, this Heat culture, whatever you want to call it. When was the last time the Heat were relevant and out of the play-in?
Oh, they've always been in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gives owners and management an excuse to say, hey, we're trying. Are you? Or are you just getting another playoff check because you made the, quote, postseason play-in tournament, and now you get a home game or two because you've got a chance to make the playoffs, and then you're going to get crushed in the first round. That's why I don't like the play-in tournament, because it gives fans a false sense of hope. It's great. Last night's results were a perfect result for the play-in tournament. You had two up-and-coming teams who one is probably a little bit ahead of schedule in Portland. They won a great game. You had a team in the Charlotte Hornets who are a young up-and-coming team who had a great win despite what happened to Bam Adebayo. And that's how you want the play-in tournament to work. Those two teams are up-and-coming, and that's the next step. And hopefully next year, those teams are actually playoff teams, and they don't have to worry about the play-in tournament. That's how it's supposed to work. Next year, the Heat, hopefully they do something and they're not actually in the play-in or tank or whatever and lose and you're not in the play. Like, this is ridiculous.
The something is Giannis.
Fine.
That's going to be the big storyline this summer.
Then do something.
It's going to be Giannis. They're going to try and get Giannis.
When you're perpetually in the play-in, that's the problem with the play-in.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Your thoughts on the play-in round, you can text the show at 310-840-4910. I need your help with something.
Okay.
We talk about this often on the show where we say perception is reality.
Yes.
Right? The perception of something is what it really is in this day and age, in just a lot of different elements in life.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA PR just put out the viewership numbers for this season in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
What's the perception of the NBA?
That it's a bad product and tanking and load management is ruining it.
And nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching.
And it's not football, so nobody cares.
It's not football, and it's ruining this country.
So perception is reality. There's even an article I read yesterday that Nike is upset because the NBA is not carrying their weight anymore. And so Nike shoes are not selling the way they used to because Nike doesn't have any big-time NBA stars
I'm not even
to
wearing
attach
Nike
their
today.
shoes to. I'm wearing Nikes.
I'm not wearing
I've got
Nike.
Nikes
I'm not
on.
even wearing Nikes today. Look at that.
I'm wearing Nikes. What do you got?
New Balance.
New Balances. All right. UMP Crow Armstrong. I see what it is. All right. So
Kawhi, my friend.
perception is reality, right? NBA PR. They just released this. 170 million people in the U.S. watched the NBA across ESPN ABC, Amazon Prime, NBC Peacock, and NBA TV during the regular season, which is the most in 24 years.
Okay.
Up 86% over last season.
Okay.
So NBA PR just released the numbers that the NBA regular season has had the most viewers in 24 years, up 86% on last season. Perception is reality. The perception is that no one watches the NBA. All anyone talks about is that people are not watching the NBA. The NBA just had their best year of people watching the NBA in 24 years.
Okay.
Explain this to me.
You believe it?
Yeah, I do.
You believe that?
What's not to believe?
That Amazon can just say people are watching and go unchecked?
Okay, on the Amazon side, you could also argue that Amazon limits what people can watch because I saw online a lot of people who are going to sports bars around this country and the bars do not have Amazon Prime, so you couldn't watch the games last night at the bar because they didn't have something to watch the games.
I know, but Peacock can just put out numbers and go unchecked. Who watches The Watchmen?
Well,
I could tell you, listen, Chris, I have $3 million. I'm a millionaire all of a sudden. You can't check that. How you checking it? You gonna all of a sudden look at my bank statements?
So you want oversight? That's your take on this?
My point is that there
you think
used
this
to
is
be
completely fabricated?
There used to be Nielsen. There used to be an oversight.
Well, hold on.
There used to be.
Before you start yelling at me, you do have to acknowledge that NBC now airing games during the week has obviously helped the product.
Of course it has. Of course it has. I'm not arguing that.
Obviously.
But this is like
their package, the presentation from NBC has been fantastic this year.
I understand. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that NBC hasn't helped and putting it on network TV doesn't help. And that obviously helps the NFL too. I'm not saying that doesn't. What I'm saying is this is like Netflix saying that 1 billion people watch something. No one checks it. No one can check any of this.
I don't know if that's the case.
No one can check anything. 24 years? The most in 24 years?
Well, we've talked at times this season that the games have been good.
I'm not saying they haven't been.
For the teams that are actively trying to win.
I am just always...
Not the tankathon
my
teams.
third eye's open, the tinfoil hat's always on. I'm just saying.
So you think the NBA just put this out as just fabricated nonsense?
I'm just saying that I would like someone to watch The Watchmen. That's it.
You could do it.
No, I don't have that kind of time.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Ray in Chicago, you're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Ray?
Hey, guys. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks, man. What's going on?
Not much. You guys getting ready for your trip? I bet it's going to be a blast. So have fun in Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
One of those sandwiches with the fries and stuff. Give it a shot, I guess, right?
Pamanti Brothers, right?
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. So quick about yesterday's game. So first and foremost, I'm very happy for Kobe White. You guys know we're from Chicago. His moment, that was awesome. Good for him. But I got really frustrated, and this is mainly with the first game at the end. Did you guys notice both teams within 2 minutes, Charlotte when they're trying to come back, and then Miami as well, both teams had opportunities to score at the cup. And both times, each of their players down low kicked it out so someone could take a three.
Yeah.
I think maybe someone hit one-on-one, but I've seen both times that they missed. And I'm thinking, I can't – look, I know the game has changed, but when they do stuff like that in the pros, I don't get it. Why don't they take the shot that's right there and they choose to kick it out, whether it's percentages or not? That really really grinded my gears, boys. So I just I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because it happened both 2 times in crunch moments of the game. So I just wanted to share that, and you guys have a great day and enjoy your trip to Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate the phone call. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. That's right. Ray's right. We will be in Pittsburgh next week for the NFL Draft, Thursday and Friday, right here on Westwood One Sports. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Have the Giants and Dexter Lawrence gotten to a point where they cannot figure it out on a new contract? Will Lawrence get traded? We have the latest coming up next.
How high is too high to draft a running back? Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love may be the best player in the NFL draft, but is he a generational talent worth picking in the top 5? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
All right, who wants Dexter Lawrence? It seems like there's an impasse, and that's the report from Rappaport. ESPN has an article on their website as well. Talks are not progressing between Dexter Lawrence and the Giants. Who wants him? The other thing that is in the report is that teams have engaged the Giants on trade talks for Dexter Lawrence. So I'm sure there's plenty of teams around the National Football League that would be willing to make a move for Dexter Lawrence. I know two of them that are very close to where Abdalla and I are sitting in proximity. We broadcast each and every day live from the city of Chicago. The team that we follow, the Chicago Bears, that's probably a team that has reached out to the Giants. Mm-hmm. The Green Bay Packers have probably reached out as well. Mm-hmm. I can see both teams reaching out to the Giants and seeing if Dexter Lawrence is available. But that's the latest on this situation, is that it seems the negotiations for a long-time contract extension have grown to an impasse.
Yeah, and I think that right now it seems like this is going to take place before the draft. That's a report from Ian Rappaport. I love Ian Rappaport. As soon as the game ended between the Heat and the Hornets ended, like the shot was blocked, the game ends, and Rappaport fires out this tweet as if the NFL can't take a break whatsoever. And it's like, Dexter Lawrence is probably going to be traded. This happens. And it's probably going to happen before the draft because the Giants want to use draft picks for this year's draft and reap those benefits this year, which is interesting because in a down draft, I might want to use those draft picks next year, but they want a lot of picks this year. So that's fine. I think that you could probably get a first-round pick. He's 28 years old. He's going to turn 29 during the season in November. So he's not incredibly old. We're not talking about, Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby being 30 years old, that type of thing.
Yeah, he's still got time.
He's still got time. He's got, at nose tackle, he's got 108 quarterback pressures since 2022. That's an insane number of quarterback pressures. So if I were a team, like you mentioned, around the Bears at 25, if you're talking about another team around that area who has picks in the first round, I could even see, maybe even the Eagles, if they're willing to make trades. They were reportedly sniffing around some teams to make trades. The Cowboys have been sniffing around defensive trades as well at 20. So I would see that if those teams were looking to move for defensive trades earlier in the offseason, why wouldn't they be looking to trade right now? I could never see the Cowboys and the Giants making a trade, so that's probably off the table. But if you're a team in need of defensive help, I would rather trade for a 28-year-old Dexter Lawrence this year than draft someone who's younger in this draft, I think, this year.
Yeah, I mean, based on the depth of the position and what you have, the talent, that there are no guys being projected to be first-round picks at that position. it makes sense. It is funny that the reports are out there. Rappaport says it last night. General manager for the Giants, Joe Shane, he was out there yesterday speaking to the media saying that they were having productive talk.
Yeah, okay.
That there were productive talks happening with Dexter Lawrence's people and the Giants. I still stand by the idea that the Giants should keep him and try and get the most out of the player. But obviously, if he doesn't want to play there and they're not going to agree on a contract situation, then he will likely be moved. And you're right. Next week before the draft, that seems like the likely time to move a player that wants a new deal, it's a disgruntled situation. I think next week we could also keep our eyes on A.J. Brown and the Eagles, whether or not he is traded before the draft, during the draft, or around the draft. So it's all stuff that we have to keep our eyes on. But that's the latest, that the trade talk, teams are contacting the Giants. The contract talks have reached an impasse. And it doesn't sound like the Giants and Dexter Lawrence will agree on a new deal. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Not many people understand this here on the radio station and with the show, that Adam Abdalla has an eye for fashion. Hello. He is the Westwood One Sports fashionista, the fashion hot cop here on Westwood One Sports. He is someone that loves it. You have a passion for fashion.
Hence the New Balances.
Yes, it's Adam Abdalla. The latest, the Washington Commanders have a refresh to their uniforms.
Yes.
Have you seen this? What are your thoughts?
I've seen the new logo. I've seen the new unis. I like the new logo. I do. I like the spear through the W.
Now, it's only on one set of the helmet.
It's on one side. One side, no.
No. They are wearing the old helmets for their home and road uniforms.
Yes.
Their alternate blacks have the spear.
Yes. So I like the spear and I like the black unis. Like those. I also like it's a slight refresh. I do think that like the placement of the spear within the W, like the lines.
Does it make sense to you? Or are you questioning how the spear would go through the W?
No, I understand how it goes through.
Because it kind of looks like it doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
Does it?
Someone made it look made sense.
Is there a hole?
No, there is.
Can you see the hole for the spear to go through?
I've seen the hole.
Did you look directly at it?
I've looked into the hole.
Okay, all right.
Where the spear goes through.
Got it.
And it fits.
Strange.
It fits.
I had tassels on my pasties.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
It fits.
Yes, QBC lady. With
it fits.
The pasties on. Yes.
It fits right there.
Yeah, the tassels.
And I like the black uniforms. I think they look cool. I think adding the spear adds that little extra edge to the black uniforms. I kind of wish they had the spear on the other uniforms. I kind of think this. I wish the spear was their go-to logo. I think it's a good, like the W is just kind of like very Washington football team.
Well, yeah, and everything is just minimal.
Yeah.
Now, and I think that's what it kind of stinks about sports, is that the Washington franchise for years had great uniforms. Now, we don't have to get into whether or not it was right for them to move away from the old name and the old uniforms.
Yeah.
I understand why that took place. But what I think is important here is that they should lean into, and what they're doing is they're leaning back into the old history, because essentially the uniforms, the home and the road, are essentially the same uniforms they used to wear when they were winning Super Bowls.
Exactly. But if you're going to do that, have the spear, introduce the spear to everything. Because
that's what I'm saying, is that they should lean into that. And if they want to have more with the spear, that signals some of their past.
I like
while
it.
Still not, offending people. I think that works. I think that makes more sense.
The spear's not offending anyone.
Commanders is just lame.
Commanders
is just, you feel like you're playing Madden back when you're a kid and you just make up a franchise.
It's better than football team.
I guess.
It's better than football team.
Yes, it is.
It's not soccer.
Can you, coming up next, can you just hit me with a lot of mock drafts?
Oh, trust me, I will mock you.
Okay, all right. Coming up next, Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. Welcome in. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, SiriusXM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. Live from Chicago, I'm Chris Bleck, along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live until 3 Eastern. Hanging out with you. If you want to call or text the show, you can do that at 310-840-4910. Next Thursday is round 1 of the NFL draft. Abdalla, we have mocks. It seems like within the last 24 hours, everyone's throwing out their final mock drafts. Everyone's getting all hot and bothered with their mock drafts. We see it on ESPN, NFL.com. They're all out there. The one thing that I will say that I've noticed is when we look at the top of the board for the NFL draft and we look at those players who have been rumored at the very top, Fernando Mendoza won, but it does seem like many are pointing to David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech, as being the guy that could go second off the board to the Jets, which you and I have talked for this entire pre-draft conversation and time leading up to the draft, that Arvell Reese is someone that would be the best player in the draft or the guy who's taken second overall. I have seen a lot of people pointing to Bailey from Texas Tech being the player who could go second.
Yeah, get ready to be mocked. You're a clown. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to mock you that way. So I've got 3 mocks for you.
That's the best that you have?
Well, I mean, listen,
You're a clown?
You're a clown. I mean, that's what it is.
Thank you.
I mean, it was,
Appreciate it.
So I've got 3 mocks here. We've got, I don't know why do they wait? Today's Wednesday. You got 8 days left. Tomorrow seems like you've got a week away from the NFL draft. Tomorrow seems like
because people are going to give us their final.
No. Today's it. We're cutting it off. That's it.
I'm just telling
the
you.
Final?
I'm telling you this is more. Like ESPN.com.
What is this, a Jay-Z final album? And then I get the final album?
What is
this, a Kiss tour? I get the final tour?
This is Mel Kiper's final mock draft. 2-rounder from Mel Kiper Jr. Fernando Mendoza goes number 1. David Bailey goes number 2. Arvell Reese goes number 3. Jeremiah Love goes number 4. And Caleb Downs goes number 5.
Okay.
So the Giants take a safety. Titans take a running back. You have edge rushers for both the Cardinals and the Jets, and the quarterback to the Raiders.
Okay. In Todd McShay's mock draft, Todd. He also has Fernando Mendoza going number 1. He also has David Bailey going number 2 to the New York Jets. He has Arvell Reese going number 3 to the New Orleans Saints.
What?
How about that? The Saints trade number 8, number 42, and a 2027 second rounder to the Cardinals for number 3. And they get Arvell Reese from Ohio State. The Tennessee Titans get Jeremiah Love, and the New York Giants take Francis Mauigoa from Miami. And then the Dallas Cowboys trade up and get Sonny Styles from Ohio State.
Wait. That's on Todd McShay?
Yeah.
All right. Todd and Mel have been talking.
Yeah, they have. Well, I mean, are you surprised?
Because Mel Kiper on ESPN has the Cowboys trading up to 6 to take Sonny Styles.
There's a lot of smoke, because Jerry Jones has said, if you have the capital, which they do, why not use it to move around?
If you don't use it, you lose it.
If you don't, and we know he's a gambling man.
See, I want to get Sonny. Let's get Sonny in here.
Whether you're going to trade
replace Micah
for Max Crosby or you're going to use it to move up. So there's a lot of smoke right now about the Dallas Cowboys trading up in some way for someone, and the smoke is Sonny Styles.
Okay, so both McShay and Mel Kiper, 2 different companies, both mocking, mock drafting, the Cowboys jumping to 6 to take Sonny Styles.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you've got there. So that's like the big smoke there for number 6. Then we go to the Athletic, where you've got Dane Brugler, who puts out the Beast every year.
He's got the Beast, man.
The Beast.
People love the Beast.
Which is
people are all about the Beast.
700 pages of draft information, but he mocked the entire draft.
Oh, geez.
So we're going to go through all of it, pick by pick.
Oh, are we?
Clear out the hour, Laura. We're going pick by pick.
We need more time.
We're going tell Rome to wait. We're going pick by pick. All right, number 1 to the Raiders, Fernando Mendoza. Number 2 to the Jets, Arvell Reese.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3 to the Cardinals, Francis Mauigoa from Miami.
Okay.
Number 4 to the Titans, David Bailey.
All right.
Number 5 to the Giants, Caleb Downs.
Okay, this is the most logical mock draft that I've seen so far.
He's a man after our own heart.
The Beast.
Yeah.
I love the Beast.
Number 6, the Cowboys trade up to get Sonny Styles.
Jeez, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's on this.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And then number 7, the Washington Commanders get Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame.
And that makes sense there. And that has been kind of out there. And I would say that was something that Schefter told ESPN, and Mel Kiper has kind of been on as well. Even though Kiper in his latest that we were just talking about has Jeremiah Love going 4th, he has pointed out that Washington could be a spot.
Yeah.
That could
He's not
possibly
getting
take
past
him.
7.
No, I don't think so either. Mel Kiper, the next quarterback off the board. Take a look at McShay and the Beast.
Okay.
You got both McShay and the Beast from The Athletic. Ty Simpson on Kuipers goes off the board at 30 to the Cardinals with a proposed trade. So the Cardinals move up back into the first round, something we've discussed, and they get Ty Simpson as their quarterback.
These guys are calling each other. Do
they really have the same thing?
The McShay has the Cardinals trading 34, number 143, and number 183 to the Dolphins for number 30.
Yep.
And the Cardinals get Ty Simpson at 30.
Yep.
And the Beast.
What does the Beast have?
Hold on. The Beast.
The Beast.
The Beast.
What's it, Dan Brugler?
Has the Cardinals taking Ty Simpson at 34.
Okay, so
second round.
they don't move up. They just wait. Which
wait.
means the Jets would pass on them.
Yes, and so for information's sake, today is the last day that prospects can meet with teams for their visits, and Ty Simpson is meeting with the Cardinals today.
Okay.
So
and
today is the final day of visits.
I believe I saw something. Who was there yesterday?
Good question.
It was, no. What I saw yesterday, or it's a tweet from earlier that's saying it will take place today, would be another spot that may or may not go quarterback, and that's Pittsburgh at 21. Drew Aller, the quarterback from Penn State, is meeting with the Steelers today.
If they take Drew Aller at 21, like that,
wouldn't that be something?
I will sell all my Mike McCarthy stock if they draft Drew Aller at 21.
Yeah, Tom Pelissero, NFL Network. He puts this on social media. Former Penn State quarterback Drew Aller is visiting the Steelers today, per a source, as Pittsburgh awaits a decision from Aaron Rodgers. It now has hosted most of the draft quarterback prospects or been on visits, and they will conclude with one today with Aller. So the Steelers are at least doing their homework on quarterbacks. I'm trying to skim through Mel Kiper's to find the next quarterback off the board after Simpson.
It's got to be Beck, right?
I'm scanning. It's a 2-rounder. So there's not a lot of picks left. I don't think he has another quarterback off the board. He only has 2 going in the first 2 rounds.
Okay.
Mel Kiper does.
Okay.
So there is no one after Simpson in the second round.
Since Dane Brugler did all 7 rounds with the Beast.
The Beast.
He has the Steelers taking Garrett Nussmeier at 85. So that's the third round
pick, yeah.
And then he has the Jets taking Drew Aller at 103 in round 4.
Oh, that's not going to work.
And then he has
I'm sorry, Jets fans. That's not gonna get it done.
And then he has
I'm
how about
sorry.
this? How about this? He has the Dolphins taking Taylon Green, the quarterback out of Arkansas, at 130 in round 4. And then he has the Eagles taking Carson Beck at 137. Carson Beck, Taylon Green.
Yeah, I've seen some Taylor Green conversation. He's 6'6", 227 was what he was listed at in college, and we know all colleges lie in their reports on players. He threw for 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating of 143.2. He threw for 2,700 yards last year for Arkansas.
But before Carson Beck?
I have not seen that, but I have seen people saying that Green could be a decent player.
And I don't know what Todd McShay has because I'm not paying for it.
Well, you told me some McShay picks.
I did, but I only give you round one.
Oh, so to go beyond round one.
I'm not going through the paywall.
No paywall for you?
I am not going through the paywall to get round two.
Raj,
for Todd
can you
McShay.
get through McShay's paywall?
I
Raj,
am
are
not.
you Raj in Colorado? Can you?
I'm on it.
He's going to try and break through.
Getting
Raj has connections
through the paywall.
Raj has connections
to get through round
in high
two.
places. He can. It's just not published on the Ringer. They don't put it on the Ringer.
I refuse. Oh,
it's only just a paywall situation.
I don't know. I just got it on the email.
Okay.
I subscribed to the email.
Yes, but you don't pay for it. You just
I'm
subscribe.
Not paying for it. What is this?
You just
round
subscribe.
2 subscribe. No, even on the Ringer. Round 2 subscribe.
All right. Okay.
McShay. Todd.
I love McShay. He's
so do
great.
I. But I'm not paying him.
Maybe you should contribute to the cause.
In this economy? Are you serious?
That's outstanding.
For just half a gallon of gas, you could get round 2 of Todd McShay's mock draft.
It's like that, or the infomercials of the cleft lip kids, right? Or the dogs, right? Right? Like you see those commercials on TV all the time. Donate $1 and this dog will have food for his entire life.
Or you could find out where Drew Aller goes.
You could play the what's it? Sarah McLachlan? Is that how it goes?
You could either feed this puppy,
yes,
or you could find out where Carson Beck goes.
Right, where he'll throw interceptions as a backup quarterback in the NFL. Oh, isn't that awesome? That's great. Not everyone can be the beast and just give you.
No, here's 7 rounds. Here's 7 rounds. I mean, to be fair, I probably wouldn't get that because I do subscribe to The Athletic. So.
I think it's one of those things where in sports, you know how people are always throwing picks at you? They got picks, but then there's no accountability for set picks. Like, I'll tell you when I'm wrong about a team.
Yeah.
I feel like the mock draft people, they actually do a pretty good job of admitting that they were wrong.
I was wrong, guys.
Like Mel Kiper is
horrible.
always like, he's first and foremost to be like, yeah, I thought this guy was going to be great. Thought he's going to be great. He was terrible. Like, yeah. I think that, and I think McShay and I think the Beast would also agree with that. Like, that's the one thing in sports media that, like, mock drafts people roll their eyes at. But I do feel like the mock drafters take it so personally and so seriously that they try and hold themselves accountable with the mocks.
Well, the problem is, which one are we rating them on? Are we rating them on the final?
Okay, well, there's that. And then how long do you have to wait? Right? Like, because you can't grade a draft after the day.
Okay, but
we'll try to grade the first round, but you really can't tell until like 3 and 4 years out.
Not that. Okay, so are we rating them on their top prospects, or are we rating them on who selects who where? So, like, am I rating like Brugler has Arvell Reese going second, and everybody else has Bailey going second,
right?
But if Arvell Reese turns out to be better than Bailey,
I go with that over the where they land.
Okay.
So
you go with prospect rank over
the assessment of the prospect.
Where they actually end up playing.
Correct.
Okay.
That to me matters more.
Okay.
Right? Like, because we all care about our own individual team, but in the grand scheme of things, Bleck and Abdalla, what do we care if Arvell Reese is a Cardinal or a Jet? I specifically don't care.
Yeah.
But if he is the best player of the draft, I'll remember that at one point in the pre-draft process, someone compared him. I think it was like Field Yates. Wasn't he the one that wrote an article of comparisons?
Yeah.
Someone wrote that he was Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
It's like, if that's true, I'll remember that.
Of course.
Now, if it's not, or like wherever he landed, I don't think that matters as much. It will matter specifically to Jets fans. It will matter specifically to Cardinal fans if they take the other guy and the player that they didn't take turns out to be a great player.
Yeah.
I think that matters.
Well, because I think people look at it and like there was a story about like, how GMs work and we could have taken this guy and we could have taken this guy because you're right. Fans look at it this way. And I think right after the draft, like on Monday or Tuesday, there will be various like accounts that will say Mel got this many right and McShay got this many right and Field Yates got this many and Dane Brugler got this many. And like they will go through and track how many like picks they got correct. But we don't know how these guys turn out.
I would say we also don't do that with reporters. I mean, like that's the one thing that I've always paid attention to is everyone's reporting stuff, right? But like, are we always paying attention to who's getting it right?
No, but we did people do keep track of how many stories people broke during like free agency and stuff.
Okay, but it did used to feel like it was more wide open. Now it's just like there's like 2 or 3 people at the top who report on the sport, and that's it.
Now.
She's still around, Abdalla. What if she goes rogue?
That would be the
What
best.
if she just starts reporting on her own?
I would love that for her.
What if she has a paywall?
I would love that for her.
What if Rossini has a paywall?
I'll support that.
And she now starts out scooping Schefter.
I would pay for that one.
I agree.
Team Rossini.
Did you read her letter of resignation yesterday?
I absolutely did.
So it's like
Team Rossini.
I don't know the full details of what's going on.
Team Rossini.
But I feel like it's Team Rossini.
The Bleck Abdalla program or Team Rossini.
Stamp it.
Yeah.
I think I support whatever's happening.
Team Rossini.
I don't know if there was an inappropriate relationship.
Don't care.
Don't know. But it does seem like something happened where the Athletic changed their tune, and now they're no longer supporting her.
Yeah. Weird.
I would like to see the photos of the girls' trip. It is curious.
I mean, she's got an Instagram.
No, I know, but do you know any women in your life that have gone on a girls' trip and there's no documentation of said girls' trip?
They don't put like the cheersing boomerang up or something?
Come on, guys. We all know, right? Like, ladies go on the girls' trip. There's always pictures of the girls' trip.
There has to be pictures of the girls' trip. That's the only reason you go on the girls' trip is to put up the pictures.
I think that's sometimes why some people are only friends with people is so then they can post the pictures that they're friends with the people. It's the social clout of it, right? Isn't that the case?
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's Team Rossini.
I think so, too.
She should go rogue.
I would.
It's either I know the end story of this. She's going to work for Barstool. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
She's going to be on Barstool.
That's kind of how it seems.
I think that's the obvious one.
That's kind of how it seems.
Raj, did you ever break through Todd McShay's paywall?
No. And you know what? I wanted to point out that there's a workaround that many people use to get past some of said paywalls online. And Todd has
Is it not working
blocked
either?
it. It does
Yeah.
not work. It's like he has thought
smart.
ahead on it. I have used said process that I am not sharing publicly on many a newspaper website, and it does not
What are you,
work.
a hacker? Roger, are you a hacker? Are you on the dark web? What's happening?
Are you Neo?
No. It's
What do you mean? A workaround.
My people, okay?
Yeah, home team.
My people.
Home team.
All right. You could do what I do when I read the New York Times. Just hit the reader button on the thing, and it just shows you the full article. Did I just give away the secret? Is that it?
You can do that.
Crickets on my end.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Coming up next, we will get more details into Raj's life as a hacker. Also, Stockwatch. That's next.
How high is too high to draft a running back? Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love may be the best player in the NFL draft, but is he a generational talent worth picking in the top 5? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Broadcasting each and every day live from the city of Chicago. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Raj Sharon produces our show live from Colorado. Parts unknown, and he joins us now for Stock Watch. Hello, Raj.
Hey, guys. Sorry, you just caught me in the middle of trying to hack into another website, so just give me a sec here. We're good to go, though.
Did you create Napster?
Sir, you are awesome.
I was more of a Livewire guy, me personally.
Yeah. Live. Oh, man. The youth will never understand what it's
never
like
understand
to
the struggle.
To have a CD that just says Summer Jams 08.
Oh, yes. Summer Jams.
And you just don't know what's on it.
Yeah, you just play it. They're all jams for the summer.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
2000 something.
And maybe if you're in high school, maybe you throw a couple of graduation songs on the end.
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to think about those times. Raj, your favorite hacking movie?
Ooh, good
Do you
question.
have? Is there one that comes to mind for you guys? Hacking?
Does that have to be a movie completely about hackers, or could it be like scenes of hacking?
It could be a TV show, too.
Oh. Let me get back to you.
I'm going to go.
I don't want to give you a quick
it's
response.
It's like hacking adjacent, and it's not a movie, it's a TV show. Silicon Valley was great on HBO.
Silicon Valley was awesome.
That was awesome. That was a great show.
Such a good show.
I know it's like hacking adjacent because they're coders, but like they did pull off some hacking attempts, right? Like, isn't that a part of the show?
I think so.
From what I remember.
I think so.
They were trying
I'd go OG Matrix. I liked OG Matrix. Keanu was a hacker.
Man, the
Matrix good. Matrix great.
Was a time.
What was the movie with Sandra Bullock? The Web?
The Net.
The Net. The Net.
All right.
Swordfish.
Swordfish is your favorite.
As George Costanza's dad called it, a provocative film that he has seen called The Net. There's a deep hole for you.
With Halle Berry.
Yes, I'm familiar.
The berries.
All right, guys, ready to buy and sell some stocks? No hacking here, though. All right, no hack in the system. All right, first up, Abdalla, are you buying or selling stock on Raiders general manager John Spytek?
I think I'm gonna sell John Spytek. I don't believe anything he's saying. I think they're going to just sit there, answer the phone, be like, we're not interested, and they're gonna walk the card up, and they're going to take Fernando Mendoza. And they're also going to do the wrong thing and start Kirk Cousins. I think that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the better quarterback, but they're going to say he's not ready yet, yada, yada, yada. And Cousins is going to start, and it's going to be the wrong move. So I am going to sell John Spytek.
Why'd you yada, yada, yada Spytek?
Because I yada, yada, yada over the training camp part.
It's the best part. I'm gonna buy Raj because I'm gonna take Abdalla's ideas there, but apply them to buying. I agree with Adam. I think that they will take Mendoza.
Okay.
I think that they will listen, but they're gonna take Mendoza. They're gonna start Kirk Cousins. That's not the way to do it. I believe him, so I'm buying it. I don't agree that that's the way you should handle it, but I'm buying. I agree. I'm buying it because I think that that's what they intend on doing. I think they're going to slow play the starter. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but I think that that's what's going to take place with the Raiders.
Okay.
All right, Bleck. Next stock up. He hit a game-winning shot in a playing game, but he also swept the leg like Johnny. Are you buying or selling LaMelo Ball?
I'm going to sell. I think there's not enough steak with the sizzle with LaMelo Ball. Is that a fair way to say it? I think it was a great drive to the basket to get that final hoop to win the game, and then Miles Bridges with the block on the other end to save the day for the Hornets. But I think Charlotte will lose on Friday. They won't actually get into the playoffs. And all the conversation this week was all for naught, but they at least got that one big game last night. It was fun to watch in the play-in, so I'm going to sell.
I am going to sell LaMelo as well. It's mostly because of the trip and also because I think he has a very bad back tattoo that says Rare One on it. I'm looking at his tattoo sessions.
Well, I mentioned his tattoos earlier because his back is a full tattoo.
Oh, his whole body is a full tattoo.
His entire body is a tattoo.
His whole body. Yeah.
Just imagine the amount of
looking
money
it up right
spent on tats.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't matter to him.
No, I know it doesn't matter to him. It matters to someone like me.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It took 3 6-hour sessions across 3 consecutive days and no numbing cream. So I take it back. I'm buying. That's a baller. That's a baller, man. That's a baller.
That's a big baller.
What is
That's a
the
big
picture
baller brand.
of the tattoo?
It says like rare one. Like, look at the back.
Yeah, but like
it's
what's
full.
what's
It's like an
shaded in?
alien.
Oh yeah, okay. So there's an alien,
And then there's like a front too. I don't know if this has a picture of the front.
What do they call that when you have a tattoo on the small of your back? What is that, Adam?
It's a stamp.
He's got an alien.
It's a it's a trampoline stamp.
Bounce off of it.
Yeah. Well,
easy.
Depends.
Easy.
Depends on your range. I think that when you can do
Raj, it's an alien on the small of his back.
When you can do that, because you know what happened. You know what the thing is now with a lot of wealthy people, that you get anesthesia, and they
don't deal with it.
They put you out.
Oh, and you just wake up and you have the tat.
You just wake up and you have the full body tattoo.
That cannot be healthy.
Or you do numbing cream and you just don't feel a lot of it.
I don't even pretend to be a doctor on the radio, but like, you don't want to be put under like that many times, right? Like that's not something that you
you do it all in one sitting.
Choose to do.
You wouldn't do like a 6-day.
But you should only be doing it if it's a medical operation.
Yeah, man.
No, I get it. Maybe he's getting it all changed up. Maybe he's going in for something medical, and then he's like, "While I'm in there, let's get a couple tats."
No, I believe no numbing cream, no anesthesia.
Okay,
you got to feel the pain to get your tattoos.
Can I say, is this something that maybe I'm the only one that thinks of? When you say, how many sessions did he have to get this done?
It said three sessions over 6 days.
3 6-hour sessions? Is that what you said?
3 6-hour sessions,
okay.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that thought the only way to get that done would be if you're flying somewhere? Like if you're flying somewhere and you had the tattoo artist performing the tattoo and working on you while you're in flight.
Apparently he had like 5 different artists working at the same time.
Right. And so what I'm saying is like, if you were traveling somewhere, you can't go anywhere else anyway. You're stuck on a plane.
Yeah.
If you're just like on the plane getting tattooed for 6 hours.
What is this, Inception?
But what if you encounter turbulence? What happens if you encounter turbulence?
Yeah, you can't, dude.
That's a good point.
No.
See,
no,
Raj,
you
that's
can't.
That's why I'm the only one that thought it.
You can't.
Boom,
No.
Raj immediately squashed
that. No, man. You can't. Yeah. Seatbelts on, man.
Oh, man. All right. Next up on Stock Watch, guys, Dexter Lawrence. Now he's maybe going to get traded. Sounds that's more likely. You buying or selling this stock, Abdalla?
I'm buying. I'm buying. I want my team to buy as a Bears fan. I want all of the Dexter Lawrence stock. I will pay him. I will give up a first-round pick, depending on how high that first-round pick is. I think if you're in the 20s, that is a nice place to be. If you're going to give up that pick, I think that the talent in this draft is worthy of trading a first-round pick if you're in the 20s or higher for Dexter Lawrence, and then throw in some extra stuff if you want to for Dexter Lawrence, and then sign him to an extension and make the cap work if you can, because Dexter Lawrence is absolutely worth it. I am buying Dexter Lawrence for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to buy as well. I think it's you buy for the player. You also buy for potential trade teams that will select and make a move for the player. And I would even say it should be a buy for the Giants. Figure this out. You can use the player, new coaching staff. You can maybe even get more out of Dexter Lawrence and his potential. We talked about the low sack numbers, but the pressures are there. So I would buy if I'm the Giants, if I'm the player, and if I'm another team trying to land Dexter Lawrence. Raj?
All right, guys, there was another play-in game last night we haven't talked as much about with Portland and Phoenix, and I kept thinking of the poor Washington Wizards, the starless Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
How nice would Deni Avdija have looked in a Wizards uniform? He looked great last night for Portland. Bleck, are you buying or selling on Deni?
Okay, so here's the thing. Avdija, it's been a long time for him to develop. So, like, it is flawed, I think, to look at players who find success later in their career and blame the team that originally drafted them because he sucked in the first couple seasons in the NBA. Now, players do need to develop, and they need time. And I think he's, 25? So, like, that's the crazy thing is when you get drafted at 18 or 19, you have 4 seasons in Washington and you don't turn out to anything, you're still only 23 or 22, you know? So I'm buying Avdija. I also am not necessarily fully blaming the Washington Wizards and their search for a star, whether it be Trae Young whenever he's healthy or street clothes Anthony Davis. Like, it's not going to work. We'll see if they get the number 1 pick. They have the worst record in the NBA. We'll see how that plays out. But I'm going to buy the development of the player, but I'm not blaming Washington for the way it worked out.
I'm buying too. I think he's turned into a good player. I mean, obviously last night was a perfect example. You know, whenever you're clutch like that late in a game too.
I mean, he was an all-star this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm buying as well. I think that they've turned into a young, fun team. They're obviously like a little ahead of schedule, but that's fine. Yesterday was a great example of what they can do. Like, they were a 3.5-point underdog going into that game. I don't think anybody thought that they could win that game, and they did. And they're going to move on. And I think that it's good for Portland to have a player like that. And yeah, like Chris said, there's no reason why you're faulting the Trailblazers for getting more out of him than the Wizards did. So I'm going to buy.
It's almost the same conversation we have with quarterbacks in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it this year with Sam Darnold. We've seen it with Baker Mayfield. We'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray gets moved, and he's in a new location. It didn't work in the first spot. Is that because the player can't play? Or is it because at the time that they were there, they were just too young and not ready? And the team wasn't able to do what, like, the Spurs or the Thunder can do, where they've got these players on their roster, allowing them to develop while they're still actually competing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is so easy. And Raj, I saw so much of this the last couple days on social media, because with Portland getting to this spot as early as they have, where they weren't expected to win this year, I think it's easy for people to be like, man, Washington really messed that up. Well, when he was in Washington, he wasn't good. So, I mean, you also have to give credit to the player to develop. I think locally we saw the same thing with Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen turned into a much better player when he got to Utah and developed into something than he was in Chicago. And I think that it's a lot, to me, it's very relatable to quarterbacks. Teams use them up, they don't win early, and then they get rid of them. And then, Sam Darnold's with a team that has a good defense and a run game and a good coaching staff. What a shock that the talented kid at USC finally turned into something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Raj?
And finally, guys, one of our favorite players to talk about here on Stockwatch, Keon Coleman. He came up because Bills GM Brandon Beane told Abdalla's favorite publication, The Athletic, I think Keon understands what he can control and what he can't, and we all mature at different times. It's not an ability thing with him. I think he's shown plenty when he's been dialed in and connected with the quarterback and the play calling everyone all as one. But when you let that stuff that occurred off the field, that then affects what your opportunities are on the field. With that, Abdalla, you buying or selling Keon Coleman?
I think I'm going to sell Keon Coleman. I mean, I think the organization has kind of told you what they think of him. I think that...
Kind of told you. They told us.
They don't like him.
They told us what they thought.
But the coaching staff is the one that drafted him, and you still have the coaching staff in place. Joe Brady was the part of the coaching staff that drafted him, and now he's the head coach.
Yeah, well, they're blaming McDermott. It's all McDermott's fault.
Cool.
Didn't you hear Old Man River, the owner?
Yeah.
Pakula?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I mean, at this point, they probably have to cut bait with Keon Coleman, and I am going to sell my Keon Coleman stock. Someone else can have it.
Yeah, Raj, I will sell it as well because I think the Bills are ready to move on, and they just need to say this publicly because, A, they want to get it out there that they think the ability is there for him. Maybe try and keep the trade options available, but I don't think it's going to work out in Buffalo long term for Keon Coleman. Raj?
That does it today for Stock Watch, guys. Although I'm going to bring this one back, an oldie but a goodie.
Thank you.
Yeah, bear with me.
The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
There it is, guys, the true story.
Yes, the owner of the Buffalo
Keon
Bills, out of breath, giving us the thoughts after they fired Sean McDermott. Didn't he sound like fading at the end? He sounded like that was a lot for him to get through. It really did. Poor Bills fans. All right, Bleck Abdalla. Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it. Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Abdalla, last week here on the show, I mentioned to you something about the World Cup coming up. Mm-hmm. Have you seen I mentioned to you last week that it is a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the latest news from FIFA on the World Cup and what they will not allow fans to do before matches this summer in this country? We are the ones that own this. We are not the soccer. I'm talking about what happens before an event. No one does it like we do. There's one thing that we do that is great, and it happens before events, big sports events. And FIFA is saying that we cannot do this. I'll tell you what that is next.
The NFL Draft is next Thursday, and we'll be backstage talking to the draft picks just minutes after getting selected. The biggest storylines, the news you need to know from your home of the NFL, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck Abdalla hanging out with you here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This can't be real. The World Cup is taking place this summer, and I saw headlines yesterday saying that FIFA, who runs the World Cup, will ban tailgating before matches this summer. There's nothing we do better in this country than tailgating. It's what we do. It's what we live for. You're telling me that FIFA is going to march in here and tell us that we can't tailgate before matches? What the hell's going on here? Do they know who we are? Do they know what we do in this country? It's tailgating, grilling, meats, drinking, beers, hanging out with friends. It's what we do.
Listen, FIFA, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you don't get to come into this country and tell us that we can't go into a parking lot 3 to 4 hours before a sporting event.
And stand around.
And stand around in the same location in a 4x4 area of an asphalt concrete parking lot with 3 to 5 coolers and a small grill, grilling various meats, sipping on beers.
You know, the smells of the grill.
Getting way too drunk.
The hot pavement as well.
Going into a game.
It's great.
Sitting around with our friends. Making new friends that have decided to park next to us.
Why not?
Sharing stories.
Americana.
Yeah. Getting ready to cheer on our favorite teams. That's what we do. We watch sports. We tailgate. We grill meats.
And we drink beer.
We drink beer and various other beverages while we tailgate. And then we go into the games. And then we come back out. And while we wait for the parking lot to clear out, we drink some more beer. And we sometimes grill some more meats. And we stay around too long until someone says, guys, it's time to get out of here. And that's what we do. And we stand in long lines for porta potties. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is worse than the ticket scandal. This is worse than the bad uniforms. This is worse than anything FIFA has ever done, and I understand they've done a lot of bad things.
Well,
it's not worse than some things. Okay, I take that back. It's probably like third on the list.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of bad things.
Yeah, do you remember the World Cup in Qatar?
Yeah, that's why it's like third on the list.
Maybe the human rights violations.
Okay, that's why
in trying to build the stadiums.
I said third.
Yeah.
First of all, that wasn't FIFA. That was the Qatar. That was Qatar.
It's all one in the same.
Okay, that's why I said third.
When you got a government on the take.
That's why I said.
It's all the same.
That's why I said third.
This can't be real, right? Like, how can they ban me from tailgating?
First of all, that's a stadium thing. If the stadium wants to let me in, I'm going to go in.
So you are aware, so the headlines were all over the place yesterday. FIFA released a statement responding to the headlines and the reports that they will not allow tailgating for the events. And FIFA's formal statement said that they don't have a formal policy against tailgating, but they are leaving it up to the venues at each location to determine whether or not people can tailgate. I think it's all a load of BS because what they want is they want people to pay for these like pre-match festival things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they don't want people tailgating, is because they want them to spend more money, which it does feel like the once enjoyable, cool idea of having the World Cup in this country so people can enjoy it seems to be like all of us common folk are getting priced out. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford to go to a World Cup match.
No.
The tickets are like $1,200 for one seat.
No.
In some of these places.
No.
I mean, in Los Angeles at SoFi, where the Team USA is going to play one match, I think the opening game is also in that stadium as well for the entire tournament. Like, the tickets for that are insane. The Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium is where the final will take place. The ticket numbers and prices for that are insane. I would love to go, but it seems like they've botched everything. And let's not even talk about what's on the pitch. I mean, Team USA is in turmoil as well. So, so it may not go well for our team that we're going to root for this summer.
Do you want to come see Egypt with me?
Where are they playing?
We can go to Cleveland and see Egypt against Brazil for like $100.
Okay, all right. I would see Brazil and Egypt.
Like $100? You get to see Mo Salah?
Sure.
Marmouche?
Casemiro will be there for Team
and
Brazil.
Whoever Brazil has.
Yes. Of course, they have a lot of great players. Talented players. Some of the best in the world.
The problem is, too, that's like just to walk in the stadium is $100 in Cleveland. And I can't tailgate in Cleveland.
Well, that's why I think it's like every piece of news that's released about the World Cup has been negative.
Yeah.
And it hasn't even started. It starts in June.
It used to be such a big deal, and like it was a dream for us soccer fans to like get this in America. And like hopefully soccer will be a thing when it gets here.
It's not.
It's not.
It will never be a thing.
It's not, and that's
I wish
fine.
it was. It
and
will
that's
never
fine.
be a thing.
And that's fine. That's fine.
It's been 40 years.
Don't
it's
care.
Still not a thing.
That's fine. I don't care that it's a thing or not. But they've ruined it. They've ruined it.
Yeah,
They've absolutely ruined soccer.
You know, there's also the side of it where a lot of these games will be played in domes, and so they're bringing in turf because you have to play on real grass.
Yeah.
But then it's like this weird kind of shape where you're playing in football stadiums, NFL football stadiums.
Yeah.
But soccer pitches are wider. So you have this weird configuration like at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta and in SoFi where like it's just going to look weird too.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to look like it necessarily should.
Nope.
Which I think is also going to hurt for a lot of us who will just watch on TV.
Nope. Not
There
looking
you
forward
go.
to it. I was looking so
no
forward to
tailgating.
this, and now I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Let's continue to talk NFL draft. Lindsay Rhodes from Sumer Sports. She'll join us coming up in just 5 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. We'll be live in Pittsburgh next week, Thursday and Friday, for the NFL draft. So Lindsay will help us prep for the first round and then what's going to take place. Jeremiah Love, where will he land? Will he go as high as the top 5? We'll talk about that coming up next. Lindsay will join us. It's Bleck Abdalla right here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We are on the air until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910 as we continue to prep for the NFL Draft. We also have the second night of the NBA play-in this evening as the Magic, 76ers, the Clippers, and the Warriors play tonight. And last night I thought the NBA play-in round kind of went the best that it could, with the Blazers and the Hornets winning. So we'll also talk about that this hour. But Abdalla, next Thursday, the NFL Draft, night one, round one, will be next Thursday. We will be live in Pittsburgh for the NFL Draft, broadcasting live on Thursday and Friday of next week. And some of the big storylines that we're looking at heading into the NFL Draft, one of them being around Jeremiah Love. Where will he go? A lot of places pointing to him as being a true superstar who could be the best player in this year's draft. But how high do you draft a running back?
Yeah, it's tough to say because we've seen everything from 4, 5, 6. I don't think he gets past the Commanders at 7. And I think it says a lot about what this draft is as far as prospects go. You know, we saw Jeremiah Love kind of really set the tone for Notre Dame last season in college football and what he was able to do. And I think he's going to be a really good prospect in the NFL. It's just kind of how you want to build your team. Do you want to add offensive line, defensive line, or do you think you're set? I think the Commanders are pretty set at what they want to do on defense and offensive line. Adding a running back would kind of put them over, assuming Jaden Daniels can stay healthy. If you're the Titans or if you're the Giants, I would continue to add at premium positions on the offensive, defensive line, especially the Titans, maybe add a wide receiver as well. Before I would add a running back, I just don't think those teams are set and ready to win yet. If you're a ready-to-win team, that's when you can afford to add a running back to me.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, Abdalla, that I look at. I don't want to say necessarily I look at running back as a luxury item, but I don't know if that's the type of selection I would want to make with a top 4 pick. So we'll continue to talk about the NFL Draft. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Lindsay Rhodes joins us from Sumer Sports to help preview the NFL Draft. Lindsay, we've been talking about Jeremiah Love. He's obviously talented. He's a game breaker. Do you think he's worth a top 5 pick? Do you think he'll go in the top 5?
You guys are hitting my my passion point of this draft. And I hate that it is, because I hate being I hate campaigning for someone to not be drafted highly, but I caught the tail end of some of the things that you were saying. And I think the short answer is no. I wouldn't take him in the top 5. I don't think it makes sense for the teams that are in the top 5. I don't think that it makes sense for most teams that would be picking in the top 5, because usually you are a bad football team with a ton of needs. And I think that there's just so much evidence that a very good running back can't tilt your team from losses to wins. Just can't do that. Can't do the things that we want a good running back to do for your offense. A good running back can only really truly be maximized to the point where we see their skill come out on a team that is healthy. Environment matters so much for running back that I would continue to build up this environment in a bunch of different ways. If they're wide receiver, I like the addition of, we're talking about Tennessee here, right? For the most part. Tennessee is a team that I like. The addition of Wan'Dale Robinson was a big target earner. I don't know if he's your traditional wide receiver one that you want to be that target earner on the Titans to build out that way, but the passing game has to get better. Protection for Cam. I would start from everything that impacts Cam most directly and his ability to throw the ball. And I know that there will be some people listening that'll go, well, a good running back does that, because then the defense has to account for the talent of the running back. They don't. They just don't. The number one running back in terms of expected points added per rush versus the number one wide receiver in expected points added per reception, per play, it's wildly different. And I know a lot of people listening are probably like, I don't even know what those numbers mean or what EPA even is. But just understand that it's basically an efficiency stat. And so I'm going to pull up here really quick. I don't have the numbers. Well, I'll just do total EPA because that might be easiest. The number one wide receiver in the NFL last year in total EPA. This is like every time, well, the number of points, essentially, they're roughly estimating he added to the offense that they wouldn't have otherwise had on his plays. 161.29. That's the number one wide receiver. The number one running back in terms of total EPA was 17.7. Jonathan Taylor, 161 or 17. Like, it is such a wide margin of ways. And then you could look at, and I know I'm rambling. I told you hit my sweet spot here. But like the average yards per catch versus the average yards per rush, like the defenses are getting smarter. They all have analytics departments and they all understand that, like, yeah, if you want to run, I'd love for you to. I would love for you to run all day long. Or we're going to just focus on stopping the pass. And if we can do that successfully, you're screwed.
So what happened did the Eagles break people's brains because what they did was Saquon Barkley and then they won the Super Bowl? And then you had the Seahawks this year win the Super Bowl with Kenneth Walker winning Super Bowl MVP. Are people just trying to copycat what they did and not actually look that the Eagles had a great offensive line and a tremendous defense, and the Seahawks won that with their tremendous defense as well, and Sam Darnold had the game of his life in the NFC Championship game? Are people just, like, our teams just not taking everything into account and just focusing on running back? Or is this just a product of Jeremiah Love just might be the best prospect in this draft, and that's what teams are focusing on?
Yeah, it's a few things. I think you're right that I think people got really excited about the Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry successful seasons 2 years ago when they went to good offenses that were healthy and ready to compete for a Super Bowl. And they were that last piece that put them over the top. And when they stepped into a healthy environment, we saw the best versions of themselves. And then everybody said, running backs back. Everybody was wrong about running backs not mattering. And I think people like myself were sort of sitting on the sideline saying, no, they're literally proving our point, because you're seeing a different Saquon than you've seen in New York in terms of his numbers. The same was true with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, his last year in Las Vegas, there was not a single number. And I parsed it every which way. I was looking for evidence that he was still good. And his last year in Las Vegas, there was no number I could point to that said, he's still good. This is a Raiders problem. There was no way for me to know whether or not he had just fallen off the age cliff and he was done, and then he goes to Green Bay. It's a better offensive environment, and suddenly he looks much better. That is what happens with running backs. Ashton Ginty, from a numbers standpoint, the raw numbers last year were propped up by the fact that they gave him the ball so frequently. But his efficiency numbers weren't great. If anyone had him in fantasy, it's like, that wasn't what I was looking for, but I can tell you for sure from a tracking data standpoint and all that stuff, Ashton Ginty had a great season in terms of doing what he could with the opportunities that he had and where the defenders were and when they hit him and how many defenders there were that were like, when we measure all that kind of stuff, Ashton Ginty had a great season. He was in a bad offense. You can't capitalize on the running back until you are a good offense. And I know that puts teams in a tough position because it's like, what? So we're just going to give all the good running backs to all the good teams? Like, that doesn't seem to make sense, like a Saquon to the Eagles. But to your point about the Seahawks, you know where the Seahawks ranked in rush EPA as a team last year? 29th. They were the 29th worst team in efficiency at running the ball. And they did it anyway. And I think that strategically that was super smart. And that was part of the reason that they went to multi-tight ends, was because they wanted the defense to say, like, at some point, they're like, we're going to run. And the defense just has to account for that at some point. And then when the defense did account for that, that's when they threw the ball. So they didn't throw the ball that much, but when they did, they were super efficient. They put Sam Darnold in positions where he could succeed. So I think it's a very nuanced conversation. The Jeremiah Love stuff is because it's a down year of talent in this draft at the premium positions. So that opens the door for, well, if there isn't like a Myles Garrett, and if there isn't like a, Andrew Luck, Joe Burrow, obviously Fernando Mendoza is going number one, but if that's not the type of quarterback class and the wide receivers aren't blowing there's no Calvin Johnson or anything like that, then you start to have these guys that are the different, like lower positional value guys that sneak up the conversation. And I think that's why we're having these talks about Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles.
Right. And they're great conversations. And Lindsay Rhodes joining Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports from Sumer Sports, hanging out with us, talking about the NFL draft. Yeah, I think that's why it's all fascinating and why we were having the discussion about Jeremiah Love. And I think we've even talked here in the pre-draft process about Fernando Mendoza, because Mendoza theoretically in a different year may not be the number one guy. But this year, he's the only guy. So he's going number one overall, we expect, to the Raiders. So, Lindsay, when you look at the numbers and you kind of break down what you see from Mendoza and what he accomplished last year at Indiana, the prospect, Mendoza, what do you see from him at the next level?
He's such a fascinating prospect because I think he really taps into some of the things that we have a very hard time measuring with regard to quarterback play. Like for years, it's been, you talk to scouts and there are specific traits that they're looking for. There are measurables. There's like, I hate to say arm strength because I think people around the NFL understand arm strength is a little bit lower down the totem pole. And if you just have good enough arm strength, that's what you're looking for. But there are certain things that you can get enamored with and you're looking for that you think are going to help project whether or not what we saw in college is going to also succeed in the NFL. But one of the most important, I would say the most important thing there is like your ability to diagnose. It's mental acumen, it's mental processing, it's how quickly you can do those things. And then there's, intangible like leadership skills. And I know that sounds woo-woo, but also like if a coach is talking to you, are you on the same page as him quickly? Are we processing things quickly in that sense in terms of coaching? Can I sit and talk about scheme and like game plan for the week with you? And I think that he touches on something here where like the tangibles aren't really off the charts. None of the stuff that we track in terms of computer vision and tracking data with like Sumer traits. We have traits that we measure based on every frame of every play, all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff really pops for him. It doesn't pop for any of the quarterbacks in this class. But where I think he becomes a really interesting guy is the ways in which he was able to find success in college and the ways in which he continued to get better and compete. And when you listen to his, even his post-game interviews and stuff, like you can tell he almost reminds me of, only in this way, literally, Andrew Luck, like in the like super nerdy, football guy who's just gonna, him and Kirk Cousins in a quarterback room. Like, is that the nerdiest quarterback room that you can even imagine? Like in the best possible way. But I just think this is a long-winded way of saying I think his intangibles actually might be there to be a good quarterback. All the stuff that we talk about and have a hard time measuring, it seems like he has. But again, that's hard to measure. So I don't know. I think he's probably a quarterback that maybe isn't going to turn out to be the next, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. I don't know that that's in the cards because the traits don't suggest that. But maybe he is good enough to be a high-end quarterback. If everything else is good around him, I think he's just going to need some help with that development in terms of his environment.
And how far behind is Ty Simpson from Mendoza in what you've seen?
That is the question. So I'm not an evaluator myself, so I'm not going to pretend like I've been like crunching tape and I'm going to, break down his footwork compared to Mendoza's, but we do have scouts at Sumer that I've been talking to, and our main quarterback scout I reached out to earlier this week because I was like workshopping a theory, and we did a podcast actually that's coming out today that's like 50 minutes just about Ty Simpson and where we think he's going to go and why we have problems projecting this and like what he just encapsulates in terms of how quarterbacks are so tricky. Because I think you have to love him to take him in the first. I think there's so much tied into a quarterback pick for the general manager, for the coach. Like if it doesn't work out, you took him in the first round. Now you look like you drafted poorly and he's busted. Like there's so much, and your team really can't be good if this guy isn't good. And so it feels like there's so much psychologically even tied up in saying that's my guy and that's where I want to take him. So I think it will really come down to whether or not teams love him as to like where he goes and when he goes. And if they don't love him, then when does it make sense to use a pick on that? If you're like, but I need a quarterback, so let's take a shot. Like there's different psychologies attached to those two things. I think that everyone I have talked to thinks he's no doubt QB2, except Orlovsky, who thinks he's QB1. But they think he's QB2, but it's followed by a but immediately. It's like but he's not ready to start right away. But the 15 starts in college, there's a long history of people who have only started for a year who turn out not to do well in the NFL. There's always a but. And so it will just depend, as far as I'm concerned, on what team has what but, and when they watch his tape, how much they love him. That sounded weird, I realize.
No, we get it, because we've broken it down as well, and we don't think that he's a first round pick, but we do think he's the second best quarterback. Right. So how desperate will teams be on draft night? And then also there's the value of getting that 5th-year extension for a first round player. So that is valuable in the development process of a quarterback when you need that time. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Lindsay Rhodes from Sumer Sports hanging out, previewing the NFL draft. So, Lindsay, when you talk to the scouts and you break down all the different angles to this year's draft, who is the best defensive player in your mind for this year's draft?
The answer I get most consistently when I talk to people is Caleb Downs. And he is also somebody who has very high grades from our scouts. Let me see if I can pull up the collective grades for this year's class. Oh, I don't think I'm filtering properly.
Caleb Downs you're not the first person that's told us this. I think, didn't Mike Golick Jr. say that to us yesterday? That he thinks Caleb Downs is the best defensive player in this year's draft as well.
When I talked to people outside Sumer, when I went to Combine, and what we tend to do there is just talk to different evaluators to get a feel for like the whole class and what they're passionate about. And then what I like to do is I almost like evaluate the evaluators. Like I almost think of myself as an aggregator of all of this information with the history of, having worked in this space for a while and what it means. And then just put that through my processor of like, here are the buzzwords I'm hearing. Here's not what I'm not hearing. This raises red flags for me that this is a consistent concern, that kind of stuff. But when I went to Combine, that was a question we asked just about everybody that we could get a hold of. Who's the best player in this class? And the two answers that we got pretty consistently were Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs. So I think that there's a strong set. But what's also interesting about Caleb Downs is that, there's a lot of talk about safety right now coming off of last season in terms of trends and trying to be copycats of what worked. And clearly Nicky Manwari was a big piece for the Seahawks down the stretch and kind of one of the things that made that defense sort of click. But I have been told over and over again that Caleb Downs is a very, very good safety. He is not Nicky Manwari. He is not Kyle Hamilton. He is a different kind of good safety. And the ways that the Seahawks were able to use Manwari as like kind of covering a bunch of different positions, that versatile guy who could kind of come down to the line and do a lot of different things that maybe helped account for the multi-tight end sets that we saw. I think that the safeties and tight ends go hand in hand this year in terms of like that trend conversation, but they said he's not that. So understand that if you're just looking to copy the Seahawks defense, it's not like go get Caleb Downs and do it. He's differently talented, which is not a bad thing. It's just a specific, like how you're going to use him sort of thing.
Lindsay, what do you have planned on Sumer Sports leading into the draft? What type of content can we find?
We are going to be doing a live draft show on draft day. All of the draft days actually, but I will only be doing day one. We'll be on with Mike Mayock, who is one of my favorite people that I've ever worked for. He is such an, I know you guys know this, like full OG draft analyst guy. And he has been working with us at Sumer Sports, and it's been just fascinating to watch him interact with analytics to a degree, right? Like I think we represent in many ways sort of a modern front office that isn't actually a front office, with a full scouting arm and then a data arm, and kind of putting those two sides into conversation. So we'll be doing that on draft day with our senior data scientist, Sam Bruckhouse. I'll be leading that conversation. And then also, for everybody who is unfamiliar, we have a show that is about the draft called The Evaluation, which you can find on Sumer Sports YouTube page. The last episode, 10th episode, will be coming out tomorrow. And every episode is devoted to a position group, and it has evaluations from legitimate scouts who work for us at Sumer, plus the data conversation, and then a roundtable conversation that's like a bigger picture. How has evaluation changed around this position group? And some of the things that we talked about, like with regards to running back, those kinds of questions and evolutions exist at every position. So you can go find that at Sumer Sports YouTube page.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
There she is, Lindsay Rhodes from Sumer Sports, previewing the NFL draft with Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Yeah, Mike Mayock's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time we talked to him on the show, I think we kind of annoyed him a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the Super Bowl, we talked some ball with Mayock.
Ball, yeah.
And I think we earned some respect back from Mike Mayock.
Came
I
around.
think when we were talking some ball at the Super Bowl, I think the Bleck Abdalla show, we are starting to grow on him.
I think he had to know that we were ball knowers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
It's tough to do in the first conversation.
He was like, who are these jokesters? And then he learned that we were ball knowers.
Jokesters.
Yeah.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I think the Raiders should move out of one. I'll tell you why next.
Who is the best edge rusher in the draft? Ohio State's Arvell Reese or Texas Tech's David Bailey? They're both expected to go in the top 5. You ready for this? The NFL draft is next week. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Add stage. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. What happened now?
It's a different layout. It's not Wednesday party.
Oh, so they did change it.
It's not Wednesday party. But now I don't know how to.
No, they changed it.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
The more I think about it, the Raiders really should consider trading back from the number 1 pick. If Fernando Mendoza really isn't ever going to be a top-level quarterback in the NFL, top 10 guy, top 5 guy, a guy who can maybe win an MVP one day, if that's really the assessment of the prospect coming into the NFL draft, even though he's the best quarterback, why are you being desperate and just taking the best available, right? If you're out on the dating scene, are you just dating the only girl that wanders into the bar, or do you wait? You wait.
I feel like I've been saying this for months.
Yeah, I'm coming around to your point.
Now you're coming around?
Yes.
Before I was mocked. I was mocked in the streets. I was laughed at. I was mocked.
We don't talk in the street.
We don't.
Only on the show.
I had tomatoes thrown at me in a stockade.
I don't like them on my sandwich, so I toss them your way.
And now, 8 days. 8 days.
Well, we keep talking to experts who keep saying that he's not that.
So because other people have to tell you, you don't just trust me. Someone you've known for over 20 years. I've been sitting next to you for over 20 years.
I hear enough of you.
And I tell you that if you don't think that you like him enough to run the card up there, you shouldn't be taking him. You're like, I don't know. If you need a quarterback, you should take the quarterback. With 8 days to go, you finally come around?
I kind of like the idea of sabotaging the season by starting Kirk Cousins.
This is ridiculous.
And then you're really bad. Cousins is bad. The whole thing is bad. And then you get a top 5 pick next season.
I'm so upset. This is ridiculous.
And at some point here, you trade Max Crosby. You do what you're planning on doing.
Yeah.
You trade Max Crosby. You start Kirk Cousins. You're just a bad football operation this upcoming season.
So mad right now.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, I said this months ago.
On this show?
On this show.
Well, that proves I don't listen to our own show.
Months ago.
Did you really?
Yes.
What's a good take?
I know it was.
It's a nice take.
I wrote minutes about it and everything.
Did you really air Westwood One Sports Minutes on this?
Oh, my God. Raj producing the show. Parts unknown. Colorado. Please back me up. I've had this take. I have had this take. You know I've had this take.
I think the Raiders should consider it.
Oh, Raj isn't. Of course, when I need
Raj
him.
walked
When
down
I
on
need
you.
him. When I need support.
He doesn't want to participate.
When I need support, Raj isn't there.
See, you know Laura will agree with me, so that's why you didn't ask Laura. Ask Laura.
Laura, do you remember me saying? Laura doesn't remember me saying this.
Yeah, I don't listen to those minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, see, she doesn't remember.
She doesn't put them together. It's fine.
So I think the Raiders should consider this. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. John Spytek, the GM for the Las Vegas Raiders, he said yesterday the Raiders have gotten calls for the number 1 pick. He did say that yesterday.
He said we've gotten calls and teams know where they stand. And that's what he
We've
said.
gotten a few calls, and those teams
There
know
it
where
is.
they stand right now.
And you think they should feel those calls.
On tape delay.
And they should.
Also, in the process of figuring out what the Raiders will do while they're on the clock, this is what Spytek had to say yesterday.
Decision for the Raiders. I think it starts with, are we going to make the pick? And if there's a player that stands out that we feel it's not worth losing, it's not worth even picking up the phone, then we'll just make the pick. But if it's a player that we're not as excited about, or there's a group of players that we would love to pick from, and we can get value for that, then we're certainly open to listening to that. So I think when you go on the clock, unless you're super convicted that you're making the pick, you kind of just sit there and wait for a little bit and see if your phone will ring. And sometimes you can get really good trade offers that maybe you didn't expect, and other times your phone doesn't ring, so then you just pick. But we try to be open-minded. We try to give ourselves as much time, as allotted to make the best decision for the Raiders. And we traded back twice in the second round last year and accumulated a bunch of what we thought was really good draft capital, and we'd be open to doing that again.
John Spytek, GM for the Raiders, speaking yesterday to the media before the NFL draft next week. That makes sense, the way that the Raiders are approaching it. I'm guessing they won't take Abdalla's advice here with a beautiful take that the Raiders should trade out of 1 and that they shouldn't take Mendoza.
Ridiculous.
I don't think it's realistic, though. I'm guessing they'll take Mendoza.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to play out. They're going to take Mendoza. They're going to start Kirk Cousins. A month and a half into the season will be lost anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like 1-5, 2-6, something like that. And then they will go to Mendoza. And then you'll see like a slight bump. They'll play a little bit better for like a couple weeks. And then he'll fall into this like slump for the rest of the season. And that's just what they'll have next season. I'm guessing they will select Mendoza, even though I do think it's something they should consider. If someone's desperate enough to go get Mendoza, of all the prospects that we've seen recently, by all means, take them up on it.
I do.
Right? Like if the Cardinals want to jump to 1, if the Jets want to jump to 1, by all means, go to town.
So earlier, we mentioned that today is the final day the prospects can meet with teams ahead of the draft. So you can have top 30 visits. You can have 30 visits with players ahead of the draft. If you're a team, you can schedule 30 different visits with prospects ahead of the draft. And today, the Cardinals are meeting with Ty Simpson as one of their visits with 30 prospects.
Yeah.
On the final day. And Jeremy Fowler has said about 15 minutes ago, in league circles, Simpson has been linked to Arizona more than any other team. So whether that's, I highly doubt that's in the first round. Maybe they trade back in. We've seen a couple mock drafts today with Arizona trading back into the first round to get Ty Simpson. We saw one where they just wait and he falls to them at 34 with the second pick in the second round. So whatever they want to do, if they want to trade back in so they can give up some draft capital, but they get the fifth year option for Ty Simpson, or they just wait and see if he falls, they still get Ty Simpson. Now, if that's to start him right away or do the same thing that the Raiders probably do with Fernando Mendoza and have him sit for the first half of the year and then play, or just have him sit the entire year, that's what they it seems like in league circles around the NFL, according to Jeremy Fowler, teams are linking Ty Simpson with the Cardinals the most. And I personally don't like that for Ty Simpson. I believe Ty Simpson should, and obviously it's the NFL draft, he doesn't really have a say where he goes. But if I was Ty Simpson, I would be angling to try to go to either the Rams.
That hasn't stopped others in the past.
I understand that. But yeah, but you got to be like a number 1 or number 2 pick. You're not going to be.
Or have a famous last name.
Have a famous last name. You're not going to be an end of the round, top of the second round quarterback that's going to be like, I'm not going there. For him, I think it's his best interest to go to a place like the Rams or the Steelers where he can sit for a year and take over for a veteran who may or may not be retiring in a year or two, and actually learn from someone who's developed quarterbacks before and not from, I know Mike McCarthy's a new head coach, but he's not a new head coach. You know what I mean? Like, he's not taking over for the first time.
You know, I've heard your opinions on McCarthy on this show. Yeah, yes, I have.
That's the one thing you've heard.
Yeah, it is.
You didn't hear me say that the Raiders should trade their first overall pick, but you heard me talk about Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
That's what you heard?
Yes, it is.
That's your selective hearing?
That's the one thing I did hear.
I'm starting to understand your wife's frustrations.
Wait, what are frustrations?
I'm starting to understand the
We're
selective hearing.
There's no frustrations.
I'm starting to hear it.
No. Sometimes I have the AirPods in, so I don't hear what is said.
You have headphones on that are linked to exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, you don't know what's going on in here. There's a different show happening.
Is it a different show?
Yes,
yeah?
it is.
Yeah? It's the punter?
No, not the punter talking about wrestling. God, ruining the sports center I used to love. What the hell are we doing here? It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Yes, that's what's on TV in our studio that we're mocking right now is the constant wrestling conversation. What's happening?
I don't know, man.
I get it. There's a business and they have a relationship, but
there's a mania.
Do people really care about the mania that's going to take place?
I'm going to watch the playoffs.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports. Yes, I'm going to watch the playoffs as well. The playing rounds tonight as well.
Yeah.
Tonight. We're sponsored by Progressive Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. Should LaMelo Ball have received a technical, maybe ejected from the game last night? We'll talk about that. We'll preview the 2 games tonight in the NBA coming up next.
How high is too high to draft a running back? Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love may be the best player in the NFL draft, but is he a generational talent worth picking in the top 5? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will be. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Make sure you check out the podcast of the show in case you missed anything on Apple and Spotify, Bleck and Abdalla's show. Also on YouTube. The live stream is up on YouTube. You can watch us each and every day at Bleck and Abdalla's show. Like and subscribe to the channel. New content posted each and every day. Thank you to Raj and to Laura for producing today's show of Bleck and Abdalla. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up in about 15 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. Last night, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Miami Heat 127-126. It was a good game. I really enjoyed it. I'm against the playing round as a principle. It should not exist. It's stupid. It's lame. It's fast food. That's what Adam Silver is doing. He's trying to come up with new ideas to get you to come to their fast food restaurant, and none of it sticks. Did you see the latest of that, by the way? The Golden Arches. Did you see their latest thing? They're going to offer energy drinks. Like
everybody wants energy drinks.
Their new
man.
kick is they're going to try and get you in with the energy drinks.
Everybody needs energy drinks.
When in reality, we just want a better product overall. Do the basics better, right? And that's why I said yesterday the NBA should focus their efforts like Chili's. And Chili's, if you're unfamiliar, in the last couple of years, they've focused on the basics. Why do you go to Chili's? You go for the margs. You go for the bottomless chips and salsa.
And
you go for the burgers. And people enjoy going to Chili's. And prices, the amount of money that the profits have gone up. And Chili's is back. People love Chili's. So I'm against the playing round. But last night, if the games are going to happen, I'll watch the games. And they were good last night. So we'll give the credit there. The games were fantastic last night.
They were great. And I think you're right. The concept of the games is the problem. Adding more teams in this complicated, if this team loses, they can still actually move on. And if this team wins, they move on, is the problem. The problem is it allows teams to perpetually stay in this stagnant play-in place where teams like the Heat that have always been in the play-in since its existence never actually try to get better. You and I broadcasting out of the city of Chicago, this is the first year the Bulls have not been in the play-in because they finally picked a lane and chose to tank, and then they fired everybody. And so this year they're not in the play-in. But as far as like a fan base goes,
but don't let them get away with it. If they were good enough to sneak into the play-in, they would have kept everything the same.
They probably would have.
That's what they prefer. The same.
Absolutely. So, but yesterday was a perfect result for the concept of the play-in tournament. You have two young teams that are building something, forward momentum to get better, and this is the next step. You had the Hornets, who are young and coming up, and they won their game, and that place was rocking, and it was great. You have the Trailblazers, who are a little bit early here in their development, and they're going, and they won, and it was a great game. Both games were great, and it was awesome last night. Tonight, a little different.
Well, tonight's matchups, the Magic and the 76ers, 7:30 Eastern. The Magic are the 8th seed. The 76ers are the 7th seed. So the winner will be slotted in as the 7th seed of this contest. And then the late game, Warriors and Clippers, that's the 10-9 matchup. That's a 10 o'clock start Eastern time. The winner of that game will then move to Friday to play the loser of last night's matchup between Portland and Phoenix, which is Phoenix. So the Suns will play the winner of the matchup tonight against the Warriors and the Clippers. So that's the action. Once again, it's on Prime. Hopefully they don't have technical difficulties. This is a big deal. People are watching these games.
Yep.
At the end of a game, missing a minute and a half of content at the end of the game is not ideal. Amazon Prime. It's not the key.
Interesting.
A lot of people also noticing something that has been going on all season long with Amazon Prime, that the audio isn't necessarily synced up with the video, that the audio is slightly ahead of the video, which is also irritating. You're a big time company. Bezos, let's go. Let's get this together. You got a double set for your studio show. Let's get this together on the game broadcast.
Interesting.
It's a cool looking studio. Did you pay attention to this?
Oh yeah,
they've had it all season.
They built a nice studio.
Why do you need a double deck studio?
I don't know, because he likes double deckers. I don't know.
Because he likes double deckers. So the games will be on Prime tonight. Last night, Hornets Heat. 10 minutes, about 56 seconds left in the second quarter. The Hornets lead 30-26. The ball goes out of bounds. LaMelo falls to the ground and does a sweep of the leg of Bam Adebayo. And Adebayo was injured and then didn't come back the rest of the night. Here's Eric Spoelstra talking about that play.
I didn't see it, but I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If somebody has got to see that, and that he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from, anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
Curtis and Sam, those are the officials.
Yes.
And, yes. I mean, I think Spoelstra's right. It was a cheap play. It was a dirty play. And if you were a player and you fall backwards and your arm just clips the leg and the guy trips, and it's just something that happens, you could usually get benefit of the doubt with that. But with LaMelo Ball, he's done this before. He's specifically done this before to Bam Adebayo. There was a play previously where he falls to the floor and Bam is running to the front court, like to get to the offensive side after the defense got the rebound, and LaMelo grabs his leg. So this is something, and I think that's why Spoelstra said it's not cute, it's dirty, and that's the way. I think that's why he responded the way he did, was because this is not the first time with LaMelo Ball doing something like this specifically to that Heat player.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen to LaMelo. What happened on this play? This is what LaMelo had to say about the play.
I apologize on that one. I mean, I got hit in the head, didn't really know where I was, but I'm going to check on him and see if he's okay and everything.
LaMelo, it kind of looked like on film that you might have grabbed his leg. I mean, did you intentionally grab his leg?
I haven't even seen. Like I said, I got hit in the head, didn't even know where I was, but yeah, just playing basketball. But like I said, sorry, and I'm going to check on him.
Were you checked for concussion after that play at all?
Me for concussion?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I ever had a concussion. Or I might have. I don't know. I don't even know how them concussions work.
What?
I don't know how concussions work.
All right, so he's hit in the head and he fell backwards, so that's his excuse for grabbing the leg and sweeping Bam Adebayo out of bounds. Wait, you don't know how concussions work? That's fine. I'm not asking you to know how they work. If you had one, or if you were needed to be checked for having one, clearly you let it slip that you hit your head pretty hard. And
didn't know where you were.
You didn't know where you were or what you were doing, and therefore you tripped Bam Adebayo. And you could hear it in the answer. He was, after the second question from the reporter of were you checked for having a concussion, clearly he knew that he stepped in it. He knew that, he said too much, and his excuse for why this took place, even though he was sorry, he's going to check on the player. The excuse for why it happened, now there's going to be questions to, did they follow the protocol? Were you put in the protocol? Do you have a concussion?
Yeah.
And that's where he went,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, what the hell?
That's a problem because now that play is being reviewed and he might be disciplined before the game. I mean, what are they going to do? Suspend him for the game?
I mean, I wonder if they do upgrade it to what would it have to be? It would have to be a flagrant 2 is the ejection, right?
Yeah. But then he's not going to be suspended.
But aren't there different levels of the flagrant where they could say there's malice intent to it?
Yeah.
And that's where it's the same rule that if a player throws a punch, they're ejected. Mm-hmm. There's no questions around that.
No.
If you throw a punch, you're ejected from the game. Where do you take a punch compared to tripping someone?
To sweeping a leg?
Yeah, I mean, he grabbed the leg and he, it's very obvious.
It
was intentional.
It's intent to injure. You know what I mean? Punching is intent to injure. Taking out someone's leg is intent to injure. It'd be the same if you kicked someone's leg out from underneath it. The fact that you did it with your arm and did it with your leg there's no difference.
When he hits the ground, his left arm is on the ground and Bam's left foot is right near his hand, right next to it on the baseline. And as Bam starts to fall, he grabs the leg.
Yeah.
His hand grabs, it lances onto it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, he could have just left his arm there, and Bam would have tripped over him anyway. Because Bam's motion, he was falling out of bounds anyway.
He could have done nothing.
Right. If he did nothing, this is not a problem. This isn't even brought up
today. He could have
today.
done nothing and the Hornets lose.
But he grabbed the leg, and he pulled it.
Yeah.
It was a dirty play, man. You don't get the benefit of the doubt when you've done it before. That I think, is the problem.
Yeah. It's a problem, and look, they probably lose if Bam's in the game the way the game went because it was a tight game, and if Bam's in there, it's probably not a tight game. But the Hornets move on, and now we'll see what happens with the review of that play.
We'll see as they move on to the Friday game to face the loser of tonight's matchup, Magic 76ers.
But the loser moves on? The loser.
Yeah. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up next right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.